Around the Table on Harrison's Original, KHOZ.
And welcome to Around the Table with Dan and Ann. It is our hump day.
I got it.
Got it. Oh boy, what a day today.
What a day, what a day.
What a day.
Yeah.
What a day, one day difference. Why do you say that?
What a difference a day makes.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it? Are we done?
It.
That was our opening.
That was my opening thought for today.
Yeah, well,
What a difference a day makes. Do you feel different today than you did yesterday?
Yeah, sure.
No, you don't.
No, I don't really.
You don't feel any different than today than yesterday.
No, I don't.
Do you feel worse?
No.
Do you feel better? Or about the same?
About the same.
Okay.
What about you?
I feel about the same.
Well, yeah.
I got a little rest.
Well, that's good because you needed that.
Yeah, we all need a little
turmoil there.
We all need a little
in your
rest.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
glad
boy.
that y'all tuned in today.
The weather's kind of like a cookie cutter thing, right?
Oh my gosh, it's warm.
Yeah, it's getting warm. Are you in the complaining mode yet? Do you ever complain about it being too hot?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you
But
were
not
the
as
hot.
much as I complain about it being too cold.
Oh, okay. But you like the hot weather.
I like it, 80 in the 80s, high 80s are kind of my
we're getting
zone. Well,
more specific.
You know what? Yes, because us talking about it has made me realize I wasn't sure where I was. Where was my perfect temperature?
I know.
But 90s gets a little bit sweaty.
Yeah.
Everything sweats.
Yeah, I used to love the winter, but I don't like it as much anymore.
The winter?
I just don't like the cold.
I can't. I
don't like cold.
And I walk in my house, and if you have a 2-story house and you have one thermostat, it gets squirrely because our downstairs will be absolutely freezing, even if when the upstairs is maybe pleasant. So it's
you have more than one thermostat?
No, I need more than one.
Oh,
but we
you
don't
need
have. We have one unit, and when you try to regulate both,
you need a zone.
It doesn't work right.
You need to put in a zone.
You're in the zone.
Well, yeah, I've got a zone system in my house.
I don't even know what that means.
That means that one thermostat controls different dampers.
Oh.
And so if the basement is too cold, it will shut the damper.
On that part.
Yes, and it regulates the temperature.
Well, you had to have done that when you put it in, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you can.
Evidently, that wasn't how ours was done.
No. Yeah, you have to set it up for that.
Anywho, there you go. So I'm either cold or hot. Yeah.
Now we had a guest scheduled.
Yes.
For today, the North Arkansas Regional Medical Center. Is that right?
That's correct.
That was their slotted time to be here, and something come up. They had an emergency.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, they have an emergency room at the hospital, and then
things happen.
Other departments have emergencies too, so
yeah,
they're not going to be here. But
you have
in place. We brought in a poi.
A poi.
A poi.
P-O. What is a poi?
POI.
I got you.
A person of interest.
Please continue and tell them who it is.
I saw him yesterday. He was on a street corner, had a sign, says "Feed me."
Was it like a sandwich board he was wearing?
No, it was a little. I think it was just like a little piece of paper, and it said "Feed me."
He's not listening, obviously.
Yeah, he's listening. And I rolled my window down and said, "Todd, are you hungry?" And he says, "Always hungry." Always hungry. So I said, "Hey, we've got an opening on the show tomorrow. Why don't you come in and give us some of your intelligent information?" He says, "Got none."
Well, I guess we'll hear "got none." I don't know.
So we have Todd Scarborough on the show. Everybody knows Todd. He's the voice of the Goblins.
Yeah.
On KHOZ.
Yep.
And going to do a little pre-interview on what's going to happen this fall.
It is summer and everyone's out on break, but like the football people are, they're practicing.
Mm-hmm.
They do a summer. They do a summer practice. So in the heat of 90 degrees, But anyway, so
yeah,
I'm
sure he could tell us some stories about, you know, the grueling, I guess the grueling regiment of how they plan for football and all that.
Mm-hmm. We'll find out all the
Yeah,
deets.
we'll find out all about that and what Todd's up to, and we'll do that after the first break. Okay. Weather today looks
hot.
like. Did you know that it rained a little bit yesterday?
No.
Sun was shining. It started raining, sprinkling.
It did not. I don't.
Didn't last
notice
long.
at my house. Even,
Yeah, well,
but
it just happened where I was at.
of course
I'm
it
sure.
did, because all the weird stuff just happens at your house.
Well, the dark clouds follow me.
Well, darn it! I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you want to tell us what the weather's going to
Okay,
be?
well,
Weather girl?
there is a 20% chance of showers today as well. So, and that's like after 4 p.m. Sunny with a high of 91. Heat index is high as 99.
I don't know why they just don't say it's going to be 100.
I could do 91. You know, I could probably do that, but
Right.
the heat index and the humidity just really sucks the life right out of you.
It does.
Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 71. Thursday, sunny with a high of 91. Thursday night, mostly clear and a low of 71 again. Friday, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 10 a.m. Mostly sunny with a high of 90. And Friday night, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Partly cloudy with a low of 71. And if you want to go on with Saturday.
Saturday, you know what I'm going to do? The
There's no
weekend, I'm looking at the forecast here, and every day and evening starts off with a 20% chance of showers.
Right.
High in the low 90s. Overnight lows in the low 70s until next Tuesday.
Okay.
No change in weather.
So what are you going to do tonight?
What am I going
You
to do?
started to say that. You said, so you know what I'm going to do tonight. Is that not what came out of your mouth?
No.
Never mind.
What am I going to do tonight? I don't know what I'm going to do tonight.
Me neither.
Um,
Never mind.
okay.
I heard that, and maybe it was just this little voice that sits over here and talks to me sometimes. I don't know.
You know, we're getting some pretty good responses on our topic to ponders.
This was a decent.
You like this one?
This was a decent,
Decent.
week of them.
So-
Sometimes I just go, ugh.
So basically, the ones that I come up with that you don't like are just horrible.
They're not horrible. They're not as good. There's some that are better. I think you would agree.
Okay.
No, he didn't say yes, I do.
Well, let's do one.
Let's do.
Get up, get moving, get those thinking caps on. It's time to ponder this topic.
This week we're talking about ways to reflect on the way people may misunderstand you.
It's really kind of sad to be misunderstood.
I think so too. And there's times in my life where people have misunderstood me, and there's they've misunderstood what I've said,
Yes.
or the situation I'm in, or that got me into the situation where they don't trust me or whatever.
Right.
And I wish that I could pull that person aside and say, you know, what you think is really not the way it really is. What you are thinking is totally different than what I intended, or
If
whatever.
you could sit down and have a conversation with everyone that has an opinion of you,
Mm-hmm.
then they probably could see through the muck. You know, but
Yeah.
we're judgmental.
Yeah.
And you interpret something really quickly and don't sit and ponder.
Well, you know,
It.
there's been situations where somebody says about someone else, they'll say, what do you think he meant by that?
Exactly.
And then you
Don't
say,
read into it.
yeah, he kind of looked funny when he said it.
People jump on board with that too.
And then you have formed that opinion, and there's nothing you're going to change it.
Right. And it's really a sad a fact of human nature that we do that, but that's what we do.
Okay.
So you want to? Did you do the thing?
I did the music, yes.
Do you
12
want to
minutes ago.
actually read the question? Should I?
Go ahead.
12 minutes ago. He's full of poo. Is there a part of your personality that you keep hidden, leading others to get the wrong idea?
I don't think
put
so.
no.
Yeah, I don't think you do either.
You pretty much know. I mean, you know, I may filter some of the way I deliver things differently, like to you. I'm pretty just straightforward.
Yeah,
You
and
know what I
appreciate
mean?
that.
And
yeah.
my husband, I am direct and straightforward. I try to be conscientious of not hurting people's feelings, but sometimes it does happen. And I'm going to say, you know, I love my church and I love my faith, and I people at church, I'm the same person. I'm the exact same here, there, yon, wherever.
Okay.
So.
Did you want to read a couple of these?
Oh, sure, Dan.
Okay. I can.
Please start.
Let's see. Leslie King says, not really.
Same.
Robert Phelan says, like the charming part of my personality hidden so as not to crush people's preconceived ideas. Okay.
Oh, Phelan, we all know who you are.
Yeah, we know. Liz Witt says that's a hard one. It's not socially acceptable to have different views on anything in this demographic. People are always masking their true feelings about anything that isn't the norm. There's way too much hostility and aggression towards indifference. Okay?
Okay. I don't always say it, you know, but I don't say the opposite either. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If I'm not going to be truthful, then I probably won't say anything. And I find that a lot with social media.
Yeah.
I just stay off of it because
don't you feel sometimes that you feel, do you not regret, but do you feel you should have said something?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
When you kept your mouth shut?
Yes.
You feel like you should have said? Yeah.
Yes.
Me too.
But, you know, at the time, too, again, I talked about I try to say things in a way that does not
hurt somebody's feelings.
Feelings. So sometimes I have to sit back and process how to do that instead of just answering right away. And then by the time I actually get to it, I'm like, screw it.
And then that's where I get into trouble because
you're impulsive in that.
I'm thinking that I'm helping someone and I end up hurting their feelings, and it's not a good thing.
Well, but, you know, we're all human and fall short, so here we are.
Right. Well, our question is up on our Facebook page at Around the Table. Please go there and answer the question, is there a part of your personality that you keep hidden, leading others to get the wrong idea?
There you go. Go to it and give us your thoughts.
It's history time, class.
We're doomed to repeat ourselves, so let's find out what happened today in history.
A breach of the peace was committed in Korea. The Security Council lost no time in pronouncing judgment, ordering a ceasefire, and demanding that the offenders withdraw.
75 years ago, the Korean War began as communist North Korea crossed the 38th parallel, invaded the South. Brigadier General Carlos Romulo of the Philippines, the president of the General Assembly, condemned the action the very next day.
All right. And then 58 years ago today, the Beatles performed and recorded their new song, All You Need Is Love, during the closing segment of Our World, the first ever live international telecast, which was carried by satellite from 14 countries.
Okay.
It is my honest belief that while the president was involved, that he did not realize or appreciate at any time the implications of his involvement.
52 years ago, former White House counsel John Dean, who would present much damaging evidence against President Nixon, began his testimony before the Senate Watergate Committee.
Mm-hmm.
We will not rest in our efforts to find who is responsible for this outrage, to pursue them, and to punish them.
This was back in 1996, 29 years ago. A truck bomb went off outside an American military complex in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, killing 29 American troops. President Clinton vowed that the killers would be brought to justice.
We will always, always remember him. He is phenomenal. He will forever be phenomenal, and he will be the legacy like Elvis.
16 years ago, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, died in Los Angeles at age 50. Fans, such as the one that was speaking, were stunned by that.
Mm-hmm.
They were allowed to proliferate all over this country with no regulation. And here we are today now with millions of addicted children, teenagers.
2019, 6 years ago, San Francisco became the first city in the U.S. to issue a ban on e-cigarettes. Anti-vaping activist Carol Magruder said it was about time.
Before he announced the sentence, Judge Peter Cahill heard victim impact statements. George Floyd's 7-year-old daughter Gianna spoke on tape, recalling time she spent with her dad.
My daddy always used to help me brush my teeth.
Floyd's brother Terrence addressed his comments directly to Derek Chauvin.
What were you thinking? What was going through your head when you had your knee on my brother's neck?
Shortly after the sentence, there were comments from President Biden.
It seems to me under the guidelines that seems to be appropriate.
And outside the courthouse,
say his name.
Most supporters of George Floyd were generally satisfied with the judge's sentence.
4 years ago, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison for the murder of George Floyd, whose dying gasps under Chauvin's knee led to the biggest city outcry against racial injustice in the U.S. in generations. CBS News correspondent Steve Futterman was the one speaking there.
I've been at this work for a long, long time, and I know how hard it is, and I know what it takes to get it done. I was there 30 years ago, the last time this nation passed meaningful gun safety laws, and I'm here today for the most significant law to be passed since then.
This was back in 2022. 3 years ago, President Joe Biden signed the most sweeping gun violence bill in decades, an unlikely bipartisan compromise brought on by a recent series of mass shootings, including a massacre of 19 students and 2 teachers at a Texas elementary school. And then you'll...
Oh, sorry. Singer Carly Simon was born on this day in 1943. She is 82. Among her hits is You're So Vain. It's widely believed the song is about her failed relationship with Warren Beatty, but Simon never confirmed that.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
You have nominated me to serve on the country's highest court, and I am deeply moved.
This is a birthday cut. Supreme Court Justice Sophia Sotomayor was born on this day in 1954. She is 71 years old today.
Wow.
She was nominated by President Obama and became a member of the Supreme Court in 2009.
Could I just say now for any listeners, this is not the thoughts and beliefs of the management. There is no such thing as ghosts. I do not believe in ghosts.
Actor, writer, director Ricky Gervais was born this day in 1961. He's 64. His many credits include The Ricky Gervais Show.
Oh, he's funny.
He is funny.
Yeah, he'll say things and he says, I don't care. I don't care.
The voice is part of the appeal.
Yeah. All right, we have Todd Scarborough on deck, and he'll be in the studio in just a few minutes, and we'll take a break, and we'll have Todd right after this. right, welcome back to Around the Table. We're having way too much fun in the studio during that break. Todd Scarborough is here, and hey, thanks for dressing up, Todd.
I
Did you just finish working out?
Yeah, I just got to working out. And
Okay.
Well, if people don't know Todd, he's a workout nut.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll grow with the nut.
Do you work out every day, or?
Yeah, pretty well. I mean, I don't work out like I rest instinctually, so it's not like a pattern that I have like.
You
3
rest
days on.
instinctually. What's that mean?
Meaning a lot of guys will have this rhythm where they're 3 days on and 1 day off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see.
Like that. I listen to my body. Sometimes I'll go 9 or 10 days in a row.
People need to listen to their body.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as you get older, as you guys know, I mean, it screams at you.
I was going to say, what's your body do when it says listen to your body? What's it saying to you?
Well, like when I'm tired, and I know I need to rest, I get up in the morning and I'm not as fresh. I don't. In other words, I just feel tired,
A little sluggish.
and mentally and kind of physically. And then I know that okay, I'm at my limit here. I need to slow down.
I just need to go back to sleep.
No, that's it. And there's a lot of times sleep is kind of demonized, in this country, because if you sleep, you're lazy or whatever. Right. But in reality, all of us need, whether you're Mother Teresa or the Pope or who you are. I have people all the time go, I can go for a long time without sleep. Well, you can now. But you're just going to catch up with you, and you ultimately will beat you down. So rest is a huge part of that equation. And
yeah, but I think that on the other side of that scale, if you rest too much.
Yeah, there it is. Well, the Goldilocks zone in anything, right? And I think it all goes back, and why I say it's instinctual is because if I feel like I need it, I do it. And if I don't feel like I need it, I don't. I mean, and so I think as we get older, past 50, if you don't know what's working for you, you're not paying attention, I mean, your body should tell you what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. And if you pay attention, then you get in this rhythm. And that's why old people, when they're 90, don't like you to mess with their rhythm. Because they're in a rhythm, they like it, and they don't want to mess with it. Yeah. And they'll hit you with something if you mess with it. And I get it. And so that's with me, I guess, as I'm getting older as an athlete, and I've been doing this since I was 17. Then I'm 61. So I'm competing again in July, another 4.5 weeks. And I'll be on stage at 61, and I started in Arkansas at 17 in 1982 when I won Teenage Arkansas. So it's a real full cycle, and it's something.
Well, how many other competitors your age will be there? Do you know?
Half of them are dead, I think.
Oh God!
And well, no, I would say that jokingly, but it's I say that right. Well, because it really is. I mean, when you see the over 60 in most of these contests, there's few competitors. And why? Because when you get 60, it's harder, and again, there's less people. And
they're not dead; they just can't compete anymore.
True, and I think ultimately that's where I'm blessed. I'm really a blessed man. I've done a lot of right things, I feel like, but then I'm also blessed because I can still do this.
Right. Well, just to let people know, you're a twin. Now your brother,
my inferior twin.
You're inferior.
Sorry, go ahead. Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to say that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, but he works out too, but
yes,
but not at the same degree as you.
Well, no, he's a bodybuilder, but he's this kind of a knuckle dragger.
He's lazy. Is he lazier than you?
No, he's really is a workout guy, but he's just, oh man, come on, I lift heavy weight. That
he's
kind
a
of guy.
meathead.
Yeah, he's a meathead. Yeah, he's classic meathead, and nothing wrong with those guys. I love them. But it's more of a art form. That people see me and they go, wow, that looks almost like gymnastics when I train, because I'm training real slow, very controlled. Tracy is in there, how much weight can I lift? Not enough weight in here, so it's the classic. And I love him to death. And he's a big guy, and he's got muscle. But he's just
how does he look when he competes, though?
It different.
Well, he didn't listen to me. He could have won a contest if he'd listened to me, but he didn't. But that's another story.
Okay, yeah.
No, he looks good. He certainly looks good, and you can tell he works out. But the way he works out is this brute kind of workout. And with me, I'm more about
does he have injury more, or
and because he's not flexible, he doesn't he doesn't stretch. And
I've seen a lot of weightlifters that can't scratch their back.
And
you know,
why?
there's no flexibility.
And I blow
there.
people's minds in the gym. I'll get down and do lunges. I'll stretch way out. I'll frog hop. I'll stand
But
on
can
one
you do
leg.
the splits?
Real close. No, I'm serious. It's funny.
So
because
flexibility is
people-
important for you.
Well, people, and then they'll look at me and go, "Man, how's a guy like you with your size be able to do that?" And I said, "Well, it didn't start yesterday."
Right.
I realized when I tore my bicep off the bone when I was doing jujitsu, I realized it wasn't flexible enough.
Oh,
And so
yeah,
when I
yeah.
started
Okay.
stretching, I realized, wow, I got to get more flexible. I had the muscle, but I wasn't usable.
Yeah, it's like people that do yoga. They
Yeah.
they live a long time because
Yoga
they're
and
so
Pilates,
flexible.
yeah.
Yeah.
that
And see, and there's the extreme, because the people who do just nothing but yoga, it's extremely good for the body, but you're not building strength there.
Right.
You're being flexible and you're elongating, but you're not building muscle and you're not stressing the bones. And resistance training is the only
Combo.
thing that does that. Yes, it's common,
Okay.
absolutely,
Need a
and that's
combo.
where with anything in life, in it is that it's generally a dual approach that about anything that we do. And with me, I learned, oh well, I've got a lot of strength and I've got strength training and I've got that down. Now I've got to have balance. I've got to have flexibility because as we age,
You lose
You're
your
gonna fall
balance.
on
Yeah.
your butt. We're losing your balance.
No, what kills people as they age is the fall that breaks a bone.
Right,
Why did
yeah.
they fall?
Right.
They don't have balance.
Right.
Yep.
They don't have strength and balance. So as we age, we've got to get more of that, and I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, we did a story. I don't even know if we read it or not, but there was a little trendy thing that was going on. They said, you'll know you can do these three things. If you can do these three things, you will live a longer life. One of those was to sit on the floor in a sitting position and stand up without using your hands.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
your elbows or
Yes.
any of that.
Yes.
You stand up.
Yes. And
I tried it.
yeah, it's
And?
tough.
And I couldn't.
I can't either.
So I'm not flexible enough.
Yes, and why that is because that assures that you have the strength in your legs
Strength,
to
yes,
rise up,
uh-huh.
and then the ability to focus mentally as through that process, because that's why it's so hard to get a robot to walk like a human.
Yeah.
Because it's so complicated,
Sure.
that stride and everything, and so being able to do that is a huge gift for that matter, because you're going to find yourself on your tail a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I really do believe that is true, is that it's a combination of that ability to get off the floor, which is
Right.
strength, but also balance and flexibility.
Yeah, another one of the, I can't remember the second one, but the number one thing was grip strength.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you can't hold on to things and grip, it's detrimental to your
Yeah,
longevity.
degradation. Well, that's what I tell people. As we age, we lose muscle and we lose bone strength. As we age past 40, okay? That's called degradation. You're degrading. Degradation is the dying process. The death process is degradation. So as you degrade, and the more you degrade, and the more muscle you lose, and the more bones you
Yeah.
lose, you're dying. They should just call it, instead of the degradation process, they should call it the dying process.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
We're all dying.
Yeah, we're
I
all
mean,
all
you know,
dying,
little
exactly.
by little.
But if you look at these people who are active, that really put the work in, they all have this one thing in common. They're in their 80s and they can get on the floor and get up without assistance. And they're bright-eyed and they've got great minds. And why? Because it's tied to the physical. All that we do, the mental side, our happiness, everything is tied to being able to do things and being able to be physically fit and
Yeah.
do things physical.
Talking about physically fit, we're going to be doing sports this fall.
Yes, yes.
You want to tell us a little about what KHOZ is going to do?
She sees me
The
smile.
grin.
She sees me
Well,
smiling.
this is exciting
well,
for
no,
you.
I started to get in my sports broadcasting voice, right? I was going to start, of course.
All
yes.
right.
No, but no, I love it, and I love high school sports especially. And I'm going to be doing basketball this year in addition to football as well. So
Oh, good.
They're
Yeah.
throwing that job at me as well, which I'm really excited about. I love
Good.
basketball, and then
Well,
just
your
being around
your
the
approach to announcing is not just the hard data facts. I mean, you throw a little bit of character in there too.
Yeah, that's kind of, my mother used to.
Yeah.
You talk too much, Todd.
Do you have character?
Yeah, she called it something else that
I'm sure she foo-fooed it.
but no, but yes, I do throw my character in there, and it's because I like the game, and I
Yeah, the
like
passion for it, yeah.
spontaneity, and I love watching these kids play, and then understanding that I'm on the other side of that. So whoever's listening is only listening; they're not
Right.
watching. So as a broadcaster, that really motivates me to try to be as descriptive as I can.
It's almost like being an author because you have to describe
Yes.
this scene, and that's what you do.
That's what you're doing, and do it smooth, and do it, where it flows. And then the biggest compliment I get, I think of all things, is people say that you give the score and you give the time in the game. And during a lot of times during the game, you'll listen to ball games sometimes, and you'll listen for 20 minutes, and you don't even know the score.
Yes.
So if you're just tuning in, I always think that there's about every minute or two that someone's tuning in. So I always throw in there 7-0. The Goblins lead here, second quarter, 2 minutes
It's
left.
appreciated.
And then all of a sudden they go, oh, it catches them up with the game.
Especially with radio. I mean, you can't really see graphics on the screen. So,
Right, and the only thing you have is me saying it. So I try to do that a lot. And then I love the challenge of describing the action like that, and some of the plays that these kids make, one-handed catches with fourth down at 5 or something crazy.
Yeah.
And I just go, there's times that I turn into a fan. I have to work at that. That's something I got to get better at, because I should stay in my sports broadcasting, but I become a fan when those things happen, and I kind of scream out loud. But
you don't do that solo either. You don't do this broadcasting. You mentioned earlier you have someone that's coming on board with you to help during that process, right?
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Chad Bishop, actually, he's going to do color for me this year. I had Coach Tice and I had Dan Henderson last year. Chad is coming on this year. Chad's going to do great. I interviewed him, Dan, if you remember. When we used to do the bowl games, I interviewed him and half. So he knows the game. He was a quarterback for the Goblins, so he's going to be, I already know he's going to be a great addition. And then Yarborough for the play-by-play, at least the color for the basketball. So
what a great team.
That's why I smiled whenever you saw me. I said, "Yes, it's going to be fun."
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun, and I love doing that for
That's
sure.
good.
So.
That's
awesome.
Good. Do you know when the games start? Have you
When
looked
they
at the
kick off?
schedule?
In the fall, I think it's August, around the last of August, 1st of September. There's a scrimmage game, and then and then of course the Border Classic, which is going to be great with Branson and Harrison kicking off the season, and that's going to be a great rivalry, especially with what they did to us last year. We have got a score to settle with them, and it'll be on our home turf this time. So come on down, boys.
The home advantage.
Welcome to Harrison.
Yeah.
Get comfortable.
We're gonna have the games right here on 94.9 FM and also 900.
Yeah.
So check that out.
Yeah.
And my radio voice.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, Todd. Hey, thanks for coming in last minute. I'll drop you off after the show on that corner that you had. I still have that sign that says "Feed Me."
And then you say, "Hey, you got any brilliance?" And I said, "I don't know anything, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything."
All right. Thanks, Todd.
See you around.
Thank you. We're going to take another break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And welcome back to Around the Table with the old Dan and Ann. Oh, sorry.
The old Dan and
well,
Ann. Do we have a
Dan
new
and
Dan
the old
and Ann?
Ann? Dan and the old Ann. How about that?
Wow, I think you should just probably move on.
Not even say that at all?
No.
How about if I just say the Dan Show?
You can say what you want, but we all know Ann's here.
Who carries it?
Who carries it?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Who gives the fluff?
Well, you do carry it.
I give the fluff.
I'm just. You're the
sometimes.
fluff, and I'm just here for
Kicks. You're here for me to beat up on.
There you go.
That's not true.
I'm a good punching bag.
Oh, it works for us anyway.
Yeah. Let's see. Jeff Bezos is getting married. He doesn't want any wedding gifts.
But except to be there, which costs an ungodly amount of money.
Right. How much is he charging for people to be there?
$50K.
If you want to go to his wedding, he's charging you $50,000.
It says that's what it's going to cost you.
You know what?
It's in Italy.
I'm going to get married again. Me and Kelly are going to
renew your vows, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I'm going to charge people. I'm going to top it. I'm going to $60,000 for people to come.
$60,000.
Yeah, don't you think people will want to come to that wedding?
I don't. I probably will not stay here. Sorry.
Okay. Can't count on you, huh?
I will text you and say best wishes to the bride and the groom, but no.
Wow. And he doesn't want any gifts either.
Well, he doesn't need gifts.
Yeah, who needs gifts? I mean, what would you get him?
But $50K. I guess maybe they pay for the flight. I don't know.
Oh, he's doing it in Venice, Italy.
Right. So that's a 3-day event. I'm not paying $50K to go to anybody's wedding.
Yeah, maybe he's doing that just so nobody will show up.
Perhaps.
There you go.
Perhaps.
Private thing. Heat wave. It says here, is the heat wave bending the Washington Monument?
Well, I don't know. Is it, Dan?
I don't know. It says no.
Oh.
They didn't close the Washington Monument because the heat wave is making it bend. But being all the way up there could make visitors wilt, which means it's off limits this week. It felt like 109 degrees on Tuesday in D.C., and that may have gotten to the heads of the folks on social media who started the wild rumor about the monument melting. If you think your AC barely works in the upstairs bedroom, imagine how weak it is at the 500-foot level of the observation level of the Washington Monument.
I have to wonder that about the arch, too, in St. Louis, although it's maybe not
They
the
take
same.
a elevator up there,
Right.
don't they?
That's got to be, and I can remember the few times I did it. It was not cool in there.
Now, does the elevator stay? How does it work? Because that thing is archy.
I don't know. I mean, I don't notice that, but I guess I can't.
Does it tilt as you go up?
I would have. It would have to.
Would
wouldn't
have
it?
to. Do you go up and you go down this other direction, or just?
No, I think you came back down the same way.
Is there a room up there you go to, or?
Yeah, and there's windows, so you can go look out.
So there is a room
at the
up
top
there.
of the.
Don't you feel a little weird being up there?
Yeah, it's a
thinking
little
the thing
weird.
Is
It's a little creepy.
Fall over.
It's a little creepy. You gotta put all that aside just for the enjoyment of the whole thing.
Anyway.
Hey.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to rob a bank with anything like a gun? Anything?
No, but
I don't know if I can read this story because I'm probably gonna
I never
laugh.
get past the planning stage. I worry about being thrown in jail. How about that?
Well, if you have a stolen, wait a minute. If you have a stolen backhoe, I got to make sure I say that right.
Oh, you steal a backhoe first?
You steal a backhoe.
Gosh.
Up in Canada, someone had the bright idea to drive it to a bank near Toronto and try to dig out the ATMs.
Oh, that's
That's
smart.
a little different than
there
going
you
into
go.
the bank. They destroyed the front of the bank and the stores next door trying to get in there, but it turns out ATMs are bolted down very, very tightly, and the robbers left empty-handed.
Oh my
so
gosh.
be assured that your money that you put in the ATM before they empty it is safe, even when someone's driving a backhoe.
Right. Well, I've seen videos of people. They have these ATMs in convenience stores.
Yes.
And they'll drive through the front door.
Yes.
Bust through. They'll put a chain around the thing and they'll drag it off.
Really?
Yeah.
So it wasn't bolted very well.
Probably not. I don't know how they do those.
Maybe they had a backhoe behind the car that was trying to pull it out.
Maybe. maybe.
Oh, man.
You know these birds that can talk?
Like a parrot?
What kind of bird are they? A parrot?
Yeah.
I guess parrots, and then cockatoos and all those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one that has a potty mouth.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that's why I don't have a bird.
It's up for adoption. And it says
Because
here,
it cusses?
he's not for everyone.
Okay.
A Massachusetts animal shelter has a parrot up for adoption with a filthy beak. His name is Hendrix. He's 30 years old, a macaw, and he swears.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Swears a lot, apparently. Shelter workers say they had to disclose his vile vocabulary to potential adopters so nobody was caught off guard, especially if they have children. One employee compares him to Samuel L. Jackson in Snakes on a Plane. Luckily, the shelter says it's received 50 applications for his adoption despite his X-rated vocabulary.
That's going to be a TikTok event right there.
Would that bother you?
Yes.
Oh, it would bother you?
Yes, it would. I don't want to hear it. I mean, I don't always have the best. It's a big fault in me, but my language sometimes gets out of hand.
Well, you wonder where they learned the language.
Well, obviously
from an owner.
From an owner.
Yeah.
But, somebody might have also done it just for kicks.
Yeah.
Taught them that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was so annoying they would get rid of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You've seen these magicians that are really good at sleight of hand,
Sure.
where they can take a dollar bill and show it to you and then all of a sudden they'll put it in one hand and then they'll all of a sudden it's gone, completely gone. Where do you think that thing is?
The macaw got it.
The macaw got it. Well, there's a thief that's pleaded guilty to $260,000 Tiffany robbery.
Really?
Yeah. Turns out that knowing how to do magic and could get you vast riches until the cops found out. Just asked this 50-year-old international jewel thief who pleaded guilty to robbing the Tiffany store on Fifth Avenue in New York. He admitted to using distraction techniques and some sleight of hand, just like a magician would do, to confuse the clerk, swap out a fake cubic zirconia ring, and steal the real one, for a $250,000. Then he did the same thing at the Cartier store right down the street.
He was having him a heyday, wasn't he,
Yeah.
little magician? Have you ever seen that movie, The Five Horsemen? It's kind of the same. Well, you should watch it.
Is it about sleight of hand?
Kind of, but I mean, they're magicians, but they pull off this huge robbery. And
okay.
Anyway, it's kind of an interesting thing, but it just goes to show what magic can do.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So a couple is accused of trying to poison 2 women with cyanide.
Okay.
Do you know how?
No.
Toxic plants, it says. So we're going to find out here. A Wisconsin man and his girlfriend have been arrested and accused of trying to poison 2 women. Both of them were his ex-girlfriends. Somebody broke into the women's cars and put cyanide in their water bottles and shoved toxic plants in their air vents. One of the women ended up in the hospital. Cops say they found a notebook with chemical formulas, toxic plant protein seeds, and ingredients for ricin in the guy's house.
Oh, my God.
They are facing 6 felony charges.
Here's what I want to know. So this man and his girlfriend trying to kill 2 of his older girlfriends.
Yeah. When's she going to get ditched?
That's what I'm thinking. It's like, don't you see the writing on the wall, girl? You're next.
I mean, sometimes, people change. I will never say they won't change because it is possible.
Yeah.
But, you've heard that saying, once a cheater, always a cheater.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's probably not always true, but maybe she should pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention.
Hello.
We kind of marveled over this next story about
Yes.
plastic bottles. It says how scientists are turning plastic bottles into painkillers.
Okay.
Now, we've got a lot of plastic bottles around. So
Yes, we do.
So do you go out and get a plastic bottle and chew it up a little bit or what?
Don't know, Dan.
Okay, we may have finally figured out what to do with all those used plastic bottles. Scientists at the University of Edinburgh say they can turn them into Tylenol. They just discovered that letting E. coli eat the plastic converts it into acetaminophen.
Wow.
Acetaminophen? Yeah.
Acetaminophen.
Acetaminophen, yes. The process is a bit more complicated than that. Than just throwing some raw chicken at a pile of Coke bottles. But they figured out that if they streamline the chemical methods, it could revolutionize plastic recycling.
That would be amazing to use. But how do you get rid of the microplastics that we read about all the time?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, in the water bottles?
In the water bottles. That's part of the problem.
I think those are going to be there.
So do you really want to make Tylenol out of microplastics?
Well, I think with the E. coli eating the plastic, it converts the plastic into another chemical.
Okay, but then I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway,
to say the least.
They know more about it than we do. We need to take another break, guys.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll have more from Around the Table with Dan and Ann. Stay with us.
Channel 26.1.
And welcome back to Around the Table. It's our Hump Day show.
Yes, it is.
Do what now?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Hello, Dan.
You know what Hump Day means, don't you?
It's midweek.
Yeah, midweek.
We'll go with
That's
that.
like, just a couple more days.
It's like
and
downhill from here.
then the big reward.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
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 I bet.
I was going to go hiking Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It was so hot, though. I couldn't.
I figured you.
It was
bailed
like,
on it.
I'm just going to, not unless I went nude, I would.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to see that.
I don't think I would get by with it. I mean, you just wear clothes to soak up sweat. That's all.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't like to be
Is
sweaty.
your pool ready yet? When are you
Oh
get to
yeah,
go?
it's almost yes. It's taken so long.
I have waited for years for this invite.
You can come over now. It needs a little vacuuming, but you can come over.
Is that my price to pay?
That's your price to pay.
I
You
ain't
come
doing
over, you can vacuum, and you can swim for.
Are y'all going to be laying
Okay.
out there piddling while I'm vacuuming?
Well, yeah.
Well, forget it.
We'll float. We won't splash the water.
You're on
We'll-
mushrooms, buddy. If you think that's going to happen.
Mushrooms?
Magic mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
There's
How's
no
that?
proof that magic mushrooms don't just help with depression, but one single dose could cure depression for up to 5 years.
Whoa. Just one dose?
That's what it says. Now, nobody is suggesting you go and eat a bunch of shrooms.
That's funny.
These doctor-administered psychedelics, while the jury is still out on whether they're fully safe to take, researchers at Ohio State found that the group of people they tested them on in 2020 are still pretty much depression symptom-free.
Well, what in the world?
Who knew?
Does that mean that there's a chemical imbalance in people that have depression?
Wouldn't you say that would be...
Well, yeah, but I know that some of the pharmaceutical drugs have such a long contraindication about and side effects.
Sure.
Like one of them is when you take an antidepressant drug, you get depressed. Yeah.
See, well,
that's
and
weird.
that's weird. That's like useless, in my opinion.
Yeah, why would you want to do that? And I love it when the pharmaceutical company says, if you're allergic to this medicine, don't take it.
Right.
Well, how do you know? It's a brand new medicine. How do you know that you're allergic to it?
You're going to find
You
out
have to
pretty
take
quick,
it.
I bet, yeah.
And what if it kills you? I mean, that's kind of a hard way to find
True.
out if you're allergic to
That's
it or
very
not.
true.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I don't know.
So one dose of mushrooms is all it takes to be
I don't even like
depression-free
mushrooms, so
for
I
5
guess
years.
Good thing I'm not depressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about fungus or
Amongus.
fungi, fungus from King Tut's tomb could be used to fight cancer.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I like all these good
Yeah.
stories.
After archaeologists opened King Tut's tomb in 1920, a bunch of them died from a mysterious illness known as the Pharaoh's curse. But scientists think it was actually from fungal spores that can infect your lungs. Now, in a new study, those spores are being used to possibly fight cancer.
Okay.
Scientists have isolated the chemicals from the spores and found that they can be effective in treating leukemia.
Wow.
And of course, they say that more testing is needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, it's 6 months away till Christmas.
Is that what today is?
Yep.
It's Leon Day.
Well, whatever. You're a Leon, but it's 6 months till
Okay.
to finish your shopping.
Start shopping now,
for
folks.
Christmas. Oh, Leon is Noel still spelled backwards.
Right.
Color TV.
Yeah, invented in 1951.
Wow.
I remember my first color TV. It was 57 or 8.
Okay.
Loved them. Loved the thing.
Yeah, it was like, wow.
Wow.
Global Beatles Day. 58 years ago today, the very first live satellite TV broadcast brought Europe and North America together to watch the Beatles.
It's also National Strawberry Parfait Day. CMA Fest comes on tonight on ABC at 7 Central. And then the NBA draft starts tonight at 7 on ESPN.
Hey, we didn't say it, but thank you, Stone Bank, for being our sponsor.
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Has presented today's Around the Table program. Find us in Harrison.